Hello, Sagittarius. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading, Sagittarius. I want to say it is the last day for Mercury retrograde in Leo, and we have one more day for the Lionsgate portal to be open. So you want to get out of that lion's den mentality, come out of survival mode, in other words. High vibration in Sagittarius is passionate, resourceful, and brave. Low vibrating Sagittarius is, you all are optimistic, freedom loving, and intellectual, but a low vibrating Sagittarius is tactless, restless, and irresponsible, right? Just going along with the flow, no matter who you connected to, just tactless. So get to high vibration. Someone who is optimistic, freedom loving, and intellectual, making smart decisions to detach. I am a magnet for brilliant ideas. A magnet for brilliant ideas. Let's get into it. See what's going on here. Sagittarius. Talking to you wherever Sagittarius is in your birth chart. Again, this is the Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading, so take only what resonates with you. If you're interested in a personal reading, my information is down below in the description. And we do have more candles for those of you all who want some of the Intuit candles. Let's get into it. All right, what's the situation source for my Sagittarius? What is the situation for my Sagittarius? Yeah, a light came on for you and you became enlightened while you were in hermit mode about something. What's standing in your way? Yeah, some kind of misfortune. Somebody lost money. Something, either you were losing money or lost money. You had some kind of misfortune where it was kind of dimming your light, right? You were becoming, somebody could have been becoming overwhelmed financially. So something woke you up. Something said, okay, I need to wake up. I need to wake up. A light came on for you while you were in hermit mode. I need to wake up. I need to pray. I need to ask God for clarity, for answers. I need some ideas. God said, okay, it's about time you asked. What about the distant past? What about the distant past? Yeah, right? So your friendships, right? Distant past. Distant past is long ago events that have influenced and shaped the current issues and situation. Yeah. So something about somebody from your past, became fortunate. A light for them came on first, and and they became very fortunate, right? And so you may have been impacted by someone's fortune because a light finally came on for them, and so they answered the call. Remember, you all rolled ninth house, right? So ninth house, you all are the I philosophize sign. So something for them could have come on, a light could have come on from somebody from your past, right? What about recent past? Yeah. So something about an Aquarius, right? Someone who was just transitioning on through, right? They had pulled swords out of their back from people who were being shady towards them. They were going through a storm in their lives, right? Just transitioning on through. Someone where people were being shady towards them. They were going through a storm in their lives, and people were still stabbing them in the back. And they were climbing up out of something, like climbing up out of being stabbed in the back. What about what are your strengths, Sagittarius? What are your strengths? Right? Soulmate energy. You feel deeply when someone's soul, when you have a connection with people. You feel very deeply with energies. You can see things from a higher frequency. So a light came on for you about someone who may have been going through something, going through a storm in their lives. But you became enlightened once you got into hermit mode. In other words, you stopped talking to so many people. You went within and started saying, okay, I'm seeing something from a higher frequency now. I'm hearing all this stuff going on behind people's backs. And it's just like almost somebody could emotionally connect with something. Like basically like, okay, how would I feel if, and it's something that you had in common with someone. Like when people are on their way to their 11th house. Aquarius rules 11th house. And when somebody's on their way to 11th house, connects us with friends and community. When somebody is entering into new friends, new community, and people are being shady towards people. Something, a light came on for you because you like, that's, I have the same thing in common. Same thing in common, right? And so people were hearing about, it's almost like, y'all know how like when you hear about celebrities saying they got to leave a small town and go to a big place to make it big, but that's not always the case. Some people leave where they were born to go off to college, and they realize, okay, where you went to college, maybe your place, you may really like the college town. People move for various reasons, not always to make it big. They move out of because they just change environments, right? But so somebody gets it, like somebody really gets it, like, okay, like kindred spirits, somebody gets it. All right, so what about the near future? What about the near future? Yeah, something has come to an end with this perfect vision of family. You know, like somebody doesn't want this legacy of just like, okay, family has to be a certain way, just perfect this and perfect that. That's an end has come to that. Somebody doesn't want something to be a part of their legacy where people are being shady towards people and stabbing people in the back in a very hurtful, when they go on and they're going through storms in life. Somebody just doesn't want that to be a part of their legacy. They don't want that to be a part of their legacy. So a new legacy is starting. Some kind of a new legacy is starting here. They don't want them, their kids, whoever else to be going through some kind of mess. What about influences on you? Yeah. So, because you're a responsible person. Somebody knows what it feels like when people have the weight of the world on their shoulder and still being bullied. You know, when people are trying to build and people are still bullying you, like want to know everything you're doing every 5 seconds of the day. You trying to build and answer the phone at the same time and call, and people trying to figure out this and that, and want to play by play every 5 seconds of the day. So somebody can really relate to that in a spiritual sense. You know how overwhelming that could be. See how this person's hands are full? How can you answer the phone unless you got a hand coming out your back, or you got a hand coming out the back of your knee, or something coming out your elbow, where you can just drop everything. Like everybody can't just drop everything and continue trying to build foundations, build friendships, build this and that, while people being shady behind people's backs. So something has to give, and that's where number 10 is. Sometimes people just say, okay, you know what? Something just has to end. If people feel overwhelmed or they feel pressured, something just has to end. So, 10 of Swords connects us to North Node as well. And so when people are on their way to North Node and they're being bullied, it's usually the ones that's putting the most pressure on people that they end it with. Because you almost feel like, okay, you're familiar. It's almost like when people saying you're familiar with you trying to build something. Like, if you could just follow me with this, Sagittarius, if like a person is telling you, this is what I'm doing, I'm trying to build something, right? But people, well, the ones that put the most pressure on somebody who's trying to build, those are the quickest ones that's going to end. It's like, okay, telling you something should be, okay, hold off on something. Like, okay, people are trying to process in hermit mode, trying to build, process. It's like merging of worlds. And so this person right here, like I said, they're climbing up a hill. So that takes some kind of work. That's energy. You're trying to climb. You're somebody going through a storm. And storm doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going through a rough time. It could just mean that somebody is just transitioning. Actually, that's what the Six of Swords means. Somebody's transitioning. Not necessarily, when I say storm, I don't mean like somebody is just like winds and waves just knocking them all up against the tide and all this other stuff. It's just a transition. Actually, somebody's going through some kind of a transition, and they just need people to just kind of understand, like really just know how they feel. They just need family to know how they feel. That's it. 2 people needed family members to know how they felt, not bully them and add extra weight to something. And so that's what drops off first. The ones who just pressing. Let's see. Any influences on my Sagittarius here? This is what you have in common with somebody. Any influences? So Maybe possibly talking to someone, right, who's not coming back. Somebody could be talking to someone who's not coming back. This is night energy here. And so night energy connects us with number 12 in numerology for tarot. 1 and 2 is 3. You may have talked to someone who, maybe you talked to another Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules 9th house, right? Who didn't come back, you know, after them feeling overwhelmed. And maybe that was who you needed to talk to, was another Sagittarius that said, you know what, I know how that feels. When you trying, you got your hands full, you trying to take care of this, you trying to take care of that, and you got family members being shady towards you behind your back, and you trying to climb up out of something, you trying to come out, you know, you're trying to build, and people being shady, right? And the light comes on for you within. It's just like these people really think you're whatever they think. I don't know what people think. That you super something. I don't know. So something is, a message is coming to you. His page energy here. 11. Somebody's finally getting off the fence and enlightening someone, a younger person. Somebody's getting off the fence and enlightening a younger person. You know, so somebody's cooking up something. Somebody's cooking up something in the kitchen. Somebody's inspired to cook up something. A message. Somebody could be messaging somebody, a younger person. Enlightening a younger person here. So here we have, and that could be the external and environmental influences, right? What about the hopes and fears? What's about hopes and fears about Sagittarius? Yeah, somebody could just feel like somebody has just taken all their power with them. Just took one last look back and just moved on because of the injustices that were done. Things that may have been said. Somebody could have assumed people were talking about people behind their back. But you got to remember, whenever you see sword energy, that connects us with the heart chakra, right? Well, all of these are chakras, right? Well, except the major arcana here, but all of these connects us with chakras as well. But the heart chakra connects us with the spiritual realm and the physical realm, right? And so 7 lets me know that something is complete, right? So clearly in this picture right here, somebody does things differently. They may have pink hair, they may have, you know, they may be sharp in their thinking, right? But they may sometimes leave their power with other people. You know, these two swords here, these two energies may leave their power with other people. In other words, care what people think. And they could have left their power with 2 predators. Who felt like something was their way or the highway. So whoever moved on, they could have left their power with 2 predators. So that could have been like, you know, predatory, could have been preying on someone's heart. Like basically like, you know, talk to somebody like they were just worse than the bottom of somebody's shoe. Like just talk to somebody just any old kind of way. That's what I mean by preying on somebody. Like preying on somebody's kindness, seeing that a kindness is a weakness. It's their way or the highway, you know, that kind of thing. Just showing no compassion whatsoever. Mirroring compassion. Somebody has a tattoo. So what's the outcome? What is the outcome? Right? Yeah, somebody was chained to the devil. Like chained to, you know, wanting to feel something, right? Even if it was fake compassion, even people was mirroring compassion. They wanted to feel something, right? Anything that was going to be poured into, just being chained to something. And so sometimes that looks like, you know, like I said, somebody just treating you any old kind of way, just tossing you crumbs and scraps of just every now and then, giving you a compliment here and there, but for the most part treating you like worse than a dog. They really don't want to be bothered. They just pay attention to you every now and then, you know, because they're getting something out of it. Obsessed with whatever. Who knows what they're obsessed with. Yeah. So but somebody is cold-hearted. Somebody is really, really cold-hearted. Yep. And drove somebody to drinking. So a young person drinks. It's almost like these energies right here, whoever this couple is, wanted to paint this picture of this perfect family, whoever this is. So if you can just get this scenario, Sagittarius, it would be like if you were in a relationship with somebody, you had kids, right? And you decided to move on. Maybe you got a divorce or you separated or whatever. You decided to move on. And people thinking you came into all of this money. You're a star, you know, maybe you moved somewhere where people are like, oh, this person made it big, so on and so forth. And people so busy looking at an image, right? That either they didn't make it, and so if you made it, they got to make sure they make it too. You know, just somebody looking at some kind of an image, but something was driving someone to drink, a younger person to drink. Always feeling like they left on the outside, you know, chained to, you know, something, right? And this, remember, this is genderless here. Devil card, until a light started shining back on what some energies were actually doing. Yeah, somebody wanted to show this picture perfect life of something behind closed doors, but on the outside, you know, somebody was feeling lower and lower and lower about themselves. Nobody could see it. So anyway, lion's den. Somebody needs to come up out of the lion's den mentality, that is survival of the fittest or whatever it is. Come out of that lion's den mentality. Somebody was being sacrificed. Be patient. The answers are coming. Your new home awaits. The spy is now turned on. Somebody's still telling lies about you, but you don't care. She apologizes for betraying you. Much better lies ahead. Time to use your throat chakra. Start speaking up. When people are being sacrificed, meaning that there's an organization behind wanting somebody out in the cold, and people just sitting there like they don't know what the heck is going on. They don't even act like they don't even know what's happening here. So don't cast your pearls before swine. Let go and let God. Make room for a new blessing. Somebody regrets lying to you about something. Close out the cycle in love. Always bet on you. It looks like somebody may have been scared to say something. You got a whole big organization behind something with a lot of money, whatever the case may be. This is a religious organization, by the way. As the Five of Coins is, connects us with the Hierophant and the Minor Arcana. 5 connects us with Taurus. But somebody's amongst incubi and succubi. Somebody's amongst incubi and succubi, meaning that everybody has temptations, and people were playing on people's temptations. They were playing on basically like, okay, we found out what their demons are. If their demons are sex demons, meaning that they have a particular type, then we're going to play on that. We're going to play on that, right? We're gonna dangle something in their face that we're going to think is their type. If we think it's a man or a woman that's their type, that's what we're going to put in their face, right? So, or if we think it's a particular type of food, right? Like food can actually rival you actually getting a message. A lot of people don't believe that. That's why some people, you know, while they're speaking, they're having food being served because they know people ain't paying attention. People been sitting there, stomachs growling. Okay, let's bring the food out because nobody gonna hear what people really saying. So that's the way people can get a message across. Nobody's even paying attention to what the speaker was talking about. People too busy, glasses clanging, drinking, eating food, eyelids getting heavy. That was the whole point. So the source needs you to always bet on you, meaning bet on your own intuition. Bet on your own intuition. Listen to you. Stop going along with just the flow of stuff. Page of Swords. Whatever anxiety you had about something is going to be going away. You heard people gossiping. Just because somebody was curious, they wanted to know something. You heard all this gossiping going on. And then that is the reason why people keep people out of their business. And that is the reason why people, once they realize that people are amongst the gossip crew, that's why they cut people off. They don't want to have nothing to do with people that just sit around and just gossip and listen to a bunch of mess. Because they chain to an obsession. And that's not judging people, but it's very distracting. It's just very distracting. You're trying to do something, you're trying to work or something behind closed doors, and people are so obsessed with trying to figure out how you making your money, what kind of work you doing. They would create any kind of rumor to get behind closed doors. So it's going to be a whole lot of people that's going to try to swing back around and talk to people, but people just leaving people out their business from now on because of who they're associated with. That's going to be the outcome. People going to be like, nah, they good. They just taking good memories with them. Just because of who people want to think people are just holding a grudge. Nope. People just want to protect their space. Allow me, divine, to move with flow and respond with calmness and peace. People just want to protect their space. People are sick and tired of people just listening to a bunch of lies and gossip about people. People are sick. I'm telling y'all, I talk to a lot of people, and people are sick of it. They are sick. It's distracting. It's exhausting and it's distracting. Yeah, psychic abilities. People getting set out and people smiling and thinking that's funny. Oh, so-and-so got a notice on their door. Did you see? They must can't pay their bills. Can't think of nothing else. If that excites somebody, like for real. I'm telling y'all, some of y'all have y'all neighbors. When y'all first moved in, y'all may not have noticed it until I say this right now. Some of y'all, when y'all first moved into your home, your apartment, your home, condo, or whatever, some of y'all nosy freaking neighbors probably stuck their gigantic water heads into your front door to find out, you know, the square footage of where you live, and wanted to come in there like they come in there with a welcome basket. That door needs to be closed right in their face. If they didn't get a chance to look at it before you moved in, they don't need to be looking at it with you moving in there. That's how people get stuff stolen. That's how people get stuff stolen. Keep people out of your business. And make sure your kids know. Keep people out, your kids, grandkids, all of that, out of people's business. I'm telling y'all, a lot of people are going to start keeping people out of their business. Because a light came on for you. You started becoming relatable. Like, stuff started clicking for somebody. Like, okay, wow. Like, something don't even make any sense. Like, okay, I'm just going along with a flow. Something don't even make sense. Two of Wands here. So you have a window of opportunity that's trying to come in for you, a whole window, but you're waiting on some kind of results for something. You're planning, making some decisions. You may be leaving home. You may be traveling. Somebody could be going from local to international now just because you're keeping people out of your business. You're keeping people out of your business. It's almost like people can't move until they find out what is going on behind somebody else's closed doors. That's a shame. That is really sad. That is what I have for you. But I'm telling y'all, y'all get ready. A lot of people are getting ready to shut a lot of people out because people are just tired. It's just exhausting. For real, it is just, people just don't want to respect that people are closing out cycles in love. Everything for a lot of people has to be some jagged edge, people cussing people out, so somebody can have the next 5-10 years of talking about how somebody said this and how, you know, somebody, like, some people are not used to closing out cycles in love. They got to close out a cycle in hate. Get rid of that mentality. Get rid of that mentality. Learn how to close out cycles in love. If people say they're moving on in love, they take good memories with them, especially if you talk to people several times and they don't even know what you're talking about. If they pick up a negative attitude from a person, they don't even know. They just let go and let God. Start praying for people. That's what I'm seeing here in your cards. Throat chakra cleanse. Start releasing people in love, like for real. If somebody got to get used to closing out cycles in hate, it's time to do mirror work for real. It's time to do mirror work. That is what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.